Hey racing fans, welcome back to the channel. On this episode I'm going to be talking about sound. It's because I finally got my Sonos sound system, specifically bought for my rig, and it's working exactly the way I want, and I want to show you how I control it and how I've got better sound out of my system and actually been able to make this Sonos system work despite the problems with their app. Now, what you can see here, once I get it focused, this is the control center for the system. And we've got my main speaker right there. That's that soundbar you hear in the front. We've got a nice speaker to the right of me. And we've got one to the left. So I can control everything with my phone. And when I get it really going, now imagine what this sounds like when you're in the middle of a race and you've got these bad boys just rocking with the sound of an engine and some other engines all around you. Oh yeah, absolutely unbelievable. And then I control it all at once, just like that. Now, there's no way that the audio in here is doing this justice, but take my word for it, I absolutely love this setup, and I'm going to show you how I made it happen. Alright, one of the cool things about this setup by having me use a Sonos with my phone, I can adjust the volume coming from the game. I have it set up so right now the Ray, which is the soundbar up there, is going to take the sound from the TV. So I had that as the game sound, so the driving sounds, and I have the two speakers beside me. I had that for music right now. I can easily switch it so that I have all of them for music, or if I want, I can have these two for the game and the Ray up there for the game as well. But I like to have music sometimes, so right now all I have to do is I can adjust the game sound with this one right here, so when it plays, and I try to do this with one hand, but I'm going to put it up. Oh, not with one hand.
Left of the crest, 100.
So you can hear it's louder.
Left of the jump, half long, 120.
And then if I want to add music, it's a little bit tricky, to the back to play the music.
6 right to jump, 50. 4 left short, 50. Big 4 right, half long. To crest, 80.
And then turn that up. And there you go. Whoop. And there you go, before YouTube cuts off the video because of the Lenny Kravitz song. Anyway, so that's one of the cool features that I really appreciate about having a setup like this. And again, I don't know how it works with other speaker setups, but look into it for yourself. But it's the feature that I really love about this. So right here we've got a Sonos Era speaker, Era 100, and I just made this little stand for it so it can sit right beside me. My guitar holder is right here, so absolutely not the best, but it's pretty good. Just got this cheap piece of wood that's actually for a fence post. I just wanted to spend as little money as possible. Got an angle bracket here drilled it into the wall, into one of the studs. And now it's right here. And I wanted it at this height specifically because that's going to be around the height of the engine, right? So there we go, nice here. If it could have been a little behind me, like back this way, that would have been better, but I wanted to put it on the post because this speaker has a little bit of weight to it. So now we come to this side, and these are just some covers I made to cover up my sometimes messy shelving area. So I've got the other speaker right here, and I just tuck the wire back. And again, it's approximately the same height, lower. Again, I would have liked it behind me a little bit, but I wanted also to keep it at the same, as close as possible, the same depth as that other one over there. So yeah, so I've got two speakers. I've got two speakers behind me, and right up here I've got the Ray soundbar. So let's talk about how I got this all to work. And honestly, I've been trying to make this video for probably 9 months or now, because when I got the Sonos around this time last year, I thought, great, I'm gonna make a video about sound, the Sonos speakers. It's a must-have, but really, whatever speaker or sound system you're gonna upgrade to, it's gonna be better than just the sound coming out of your TV. But if you have some headphones like this right here, which I use when I'm racing online with my friends, that's going to be good. But this is basic, and this is pretty good. But I wanted sound that's going to be outside of my head. So I wanted to make this video for you guys. I wanted to make this video for you guys a long time ago. I've had the Sonos for over a year now. Bought it around this time last year. I had it in a different part of my room, and then I had to move it just because we've got a bunch of things going on over here. So I finally moved it over here, and I played with a couple of different systems, like getting a booster, trying a mesh system, and it wasn't working. But finally I bit the bullet and decided, you know what, I'm going to spend a bunch of hours working on this. And so I ran Ethernet cable along my drop ceiling and put a hole here, ran it down here, and connected it to the soundbar. So from there into the soundbar is the way to go. Believe me, I've read and read about it and asked a bunch of friends who have various systems, and they say running the Ethernet cable is the way to go. What do we have here? So this is what I was using for about a year. Oh, it's upside down. It's a Netgear internet booster, and what this does is you can put it at certain parts of your house where you're not getting good service, but you kind of have to put it in a spot that's gonna be in line or close, sort of close to your router, where your Wi-Fi, where your internet is coming into your house. So I use this, and the one problem with this is it changed your Wi-Fi. So you had a couple of different Wi-Fis in your house, and that's what I had, and I didn't really like that. Plus, where my system is, it's around a corner. It's definitely not in direct line. Plus, it's on a different level of where the router is. So this was not working. I got tired of this really quickly. Next, I went to this system right here. This is a mesh system. So what this does is give you these pods. So here's the one that I had kind of near my rig. I've got one right beside my router and another one in another part of the house. And it forms basically like a dome inside of your house to give you all one Wi-Fi setup, a mesh. So think of like a net. Okay, that's what it's supposed to do. The problem with this, and this was about $250 Canadian, while this booster You can get whatever kind you want. I think I spent about $50 or $80. I got this at Radio Shack. It's kind of like a Circuit City if you're in the U.S. Got this at Best Buy. The problem with this is it worked for me better than the booster. It kept the Wi-Fi as to 1, so I didn't have to change Wi-Fis. But this was still not working with the Sonos. And I think the overall problem is the Sonos and the Sonos app. But after running that cable, that Ethernet cable, wow, what a difference. Trim. So this is the most important part when you decide that you are going to run cable through your housing for your gaming setup. So what I had to do is drill this hole, okay, basically through my trim. But what I did is I took the trim off the wall, and then I used this drill bit here, and you can see by the length of it that it's got some good length, because I wanted to make sure it's going to get all the way through the floor and in turn the ceiling in my basement. And then I use this fishing cable. So what that does is it goes through the floor up here, and when it comes out at the bottom, I can attach the cable from the bottom and run it along the ceiling in my drop ceiling. Now this is the cable that I bought it from Canada Computers. It's I spent $46 Canadian on it. It's Cat 7, and from what I've been reading, apparently it drops it down to Cat 5, which is fine because it's doing the job for me. So what I had to do, as you can see here, my trim is now in need of some caulking. So I'm gonna make it look like that. But I just thought before I put the caulking on, I'll just try to make this video to show you guys. If you've ever been thinking about it, it's not rocket science. Just peel the trim off your wall very carefully so you don't wreck anything. Peel the trim back, drill the hole through your floor, and it's not in the middle of my floor. It's over at the side coming down by the wall. I used this to cut the original caulking off. You can see the gaps right there, and I'll just fill all that with caulking. And then once I had the trim off, I drilled a hole with a different bit that I had. And you have to make sure the hole is big enough, because you've got to make sure that fitting, the RJ cable, is going to fit through the hole. Obviously the cable itself is not as big. Okay, so here's my messy setup. Here's another one of those pieces of that mesh router that didn't do the job enough for my Sonos. It probably works. It worked for everything else. But yeah, so I'll just tidy this up later. And I had to use my nail gun to put the trim back along the wall. Now you don't have to get fancy with any of these things. You can use regular nails if you want, but if you want nice finishing conceal nails, you'll use a nail gun. So that's basically how I did it. And then we'll go back down to the basement and just show you I just ran the cable along the drop ceiling. So this is where the cable came out, and what I did is I had all the cabling down here, and I just ran about 10 feet up, okay, from the bottom here up through the floor, so it came out on top. And then I just pulled all this apart. All through here. And ran it along there. Now you can just move these tiles. So that's the benefit of having a drop ceiling, right? So I can see where all the cable is. Yep. And then it comes out there, and eventually what I'll probably do is I'll put that behind the wall so you can't see the cable at all. And great, there you go. Okay, so that's it for this video. If you got any questions, let me know. But I'm telling you, once you get your sound system, and whatever sound system that is, like, you don't have to spend the money on a Sonos. You can get basically computer speakers if that works for you. But try to get your speakers so that they're behind you or near you. Try to think of how the sounds are when you're in a car and where you want those sounds to come from. And the fact that I can control it with my phone, it's even better. Alright, so that's it for this episode. Hope this helped. Catch you in the next video. Thanks for watching.